some people that like, outside looking in, they look like to me successes, full on successes. And what I'm realizing is they might have gone through some trauma and they might be a success. And I talk about the 4 quadrants of what I call success in my book. So we talk about like family, faith, finances, and fitness and health and stuff. And they might have one of those components, but 3 are just jacked.
It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
The Health in the Real World podcast is sponsored by most exercises and workouts, whether they be running, biking, elliptical, rowing machine, traditional weightlifting, or even CrossFit, do not give you a balanced workout. And when you do workouts that neglect even one area, you're out of balance, resulting in pain and injury as well. Achieve your goals with the fitness program your chiropractor would love. Visit chrisjanke.com/pod to watch the free video.
Hello and welcome to Health in the Real World. I'm Chris Janke. I'm joined today for the second time with Justen Arnold. Justen, how you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Like I said, just before getting on here, I told you I'm out on a pair of skates here. Yeah, I'm out skating, trying to keep up with my hockey kids. So
That's awesome, man. You're in New York and it's cold. It's February 1st, so a lot of snow on the ground. That's awesome.
Yeah, we got a lot of snow here. I'll flip the camera. Like, this is the pond I'm at. Like, I know you do some YouTube. So, yeah, we got a good amount of snow here. That's my truck there in the background. But, yeah, it's a warm day. Like I was saying, the sun is out, which is rare this time of year. And it's 40 degrees when it's been, like, in the single digits and teens for, like, a few weeks now. So it's like it's just not used to it. So I'm actually sweating and about to take this coat off, as weird as that might sound to some people.
You get used to 0 and 40 is balmy and warm.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So what's going on with you in your training, and how are your workouts going? How are your clients doing?
Yeah, everything's going really good. I actually, crazy story. So I went on a movement retreat at the beginning of January with my wife to Mexico, and it was gorgeous and it was great. But we had to do regular testing on the retreat because to get back in the United States, as you know, you have to test negative. So me and another guy had really no symptoms with him, and I tested positive. Everyone else tested negative, which turned into a real weird, interesting story. And I didn't really have any physical symptoms, but man, the neurological stuff, I started having some weird dreams for a couple of weeks. But again, like, life comes in waves, and even when storms present us, like we still, we give 100% of what we're capable of that day. So I was able to get back in the States on time and just, working with people, but being able to like go through the neurological effects of COVID is actually opened the doors up to like people, more clientele that have gone through something similar, but almost too afraid to talk about it. So yeah, which is cool. And like I said, I started taking up skating, and, I think there's some people that walk into our gyms that are so, might be going through like what I felt like Bambi when I first stepped out on this ice, and I'm feeling a lot better. But like, I feel like a lot of people coming to our gyms scared or nervous or whatever. So it's a very humbling experience, and taking on something like this, it's not everybody takes on, is my eyes up to maybe a better way of what some clients are. But still, the gym good. The book's going well, and it's bringing me clients that are looking for that. Like, we kind of touched on it, but like, I'm having people reach out that have been through some of the stories I share in the book and looking for that whole holistic type training. And so I'm looking to me as like the expert, since I've been able to, find purpose through all the challenges and pains and things that happen in life. Yeah. So everything's going really well, man. Feeling pretty good. Amongst the other things, just like anything else, life comes in waves. But even when the storms come, just kind of work through it and learn from it and grow from it. So yeah,
that's cool, man. Like you said, you're kind of like Bambi out on the ice, and sometimes we forget. We've been working out so long, and we've been trainers for a long time, and then having like almost that beginner's mindset kind of being forced upon you, right? And like, it gives you another perspective of, hey, this is what it's like to maybe a
Yeah.
beginner, right? Maybe someone who's never lifted weights before, or someone who's never really even worked out at all. And that it's kind of nice to be able to experience that and be able to have that
Yeah.
for new clients.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a 41-year-old man, so like I try to think I try new stuff, but never on this realm, and never to the point where like, I kind of fall on my ass a couple times here and there, and it's like you're seeing these people literally, including when you have my daughter is a great skater, great hockey player, my 9-year-old too. When you have like a 6-year-old girl skating literally circles around you, it's like damn, and your mind wants to quit and give up, even with somebody like myself. But I was like, I take on the challenge, and I was tired of sitting and watching the sidelines, and just I want to be part of it. And it was kind of a little pressure of my son and my wife of just getting out there, and I did it. And it was I didn't want anything else for my birthday. I have everything I need or could ever want, so it's like I just wanted a pair of skates, and I got those. And just in like a couple weeks time, it's created more memories and moments. And now my son's talking about like, hey, look into becoming a coach. I was like, whoa, let's slow the roll. But it's kind of cool that I think it's good from a lot of different points. Like just challenge people to try something totally out of your realm and totally something scary, because one, I'm creating more moments with the people I love. Two, like being a parent is hard. And I think sometimes we want to put on this like Superman front or like the superhero, like never make mistakes. But I think it's good for the kids to see that even as adults that we keep learning new skills, keep growing, and keep screwing up and learning from those screw ups. Because it's like, oh, okay, I think we're only supposed to make those when we're younger, and so there's a lot of good to be seen in that, so the kids can witness that and spend more moments with them. And then again, like I already said, like it puts a perspective into the clientele, like it challenges us. So that 1% better, personal development, reading the books, doing all the health things, but what about just like taking on something different? So that's kind of my challenge on people, like do something like scary, and scary is different for everybody. This is kind of scary, especially when I see some like kids, and then like even like people my age do it really, really well. Like, there's that awkwardness about it, but I'm grateful I'm doing it. So
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, almost doing that thing where everybody around you looks at you and goes, "Wait a minute, you don't skate?" You're just
around
like
here, yeah.
Right. You're just like throwing such a curveball at life, and being like, "Hey, I'm just going to challenge my nervous system." I really like what you said too about being a role model as far as growth. Like, I think kids don't expect you to be perfect, but how do you handle that growth? How do you handle being a beginner? I try to do this. I don't know if I do the best job, but I definitely make an effort where, let's say I am grumpy one day and I speak in a certain way to one of my kids, and I'm like, ooh, that wasn't cool. Like, and owning that and showing them that, hey, dads make mistakes too. And I'm just a person, and I have 30 years on you, but still it's a growth process, right? And I'm doing what I need to do to take myself to the next level. And in your case, the skating connection with your family, I think that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I grew up in like a household, and I talk about this a little bit in my book, but like I think my parents did the best job they knew how with what they had and everything else. But it was common, like, even when they yelled or screamed, like that was scary, and like I got nothing out of that. In fact, it made me want to do less of what they were saying. Exactly. And I've talked to them about this. So like it's just something I was the awareness that I had. So when I go into parenting, like try not to do that, but like you said, it happens, especially like in sudden moments where like whatever. Like let me give an example of having our house. Like my son or my daughter, son, whatever, pick either one. They're both guilty of it. Like out of nowhere, like for whatever reason, we just turn our head. And all of a sudden, they're hitting their sibling like hard enough where like that's just not called for. And then we scream and yell. And like, wait, should we have responded in that way? So like, I think sometimes owning up even in front of the kids and like, hey, what you did was wrong. ... My actions weren't the best either. I want to apologize, but I want to understand ... I think even coming up to your kids and letting them know, like even coming back around, even if you did, discipline, if you realize you could have disciplined them or handle the situation differently, and owning up to that, because at the end of the day, what are we trying to do? We're trying to teach and grow better versions of ourselves in our children. And how are we going to do that unless we own up to even the mistakes that we made, so they know that there's a better way to handle these situations? And I think as parents, we need to realize that sometimes too. And again, we're all in this life, this journey, and we're all learning as we go. So like, be okay with like literally like feeling like Bambi sometimes and fall on the ice like I am here, even when it comes to parenting, coaching, whatever else. So
Right.
yeah, other than that, like just doing that, like hoping to get out in the public more as it warms up here and as people go open up. But I know there's still, especially here in New York State, some limiting factors. Like I want to get some book signings in. I want to do some public speaking and workshops and stuff. But right now, just kind of like riding the wave in this winter, and just trying to
Yeah.
make the most of it. One thing I hear people say, especially if you live around here, is like you hear people complain about the winter, but like I said this to a number of people, man, if you stay active and you find fun stuff to do, like whether it be like sledding down these hills behind me, or whether it's skating on the ice, or throwing snowballs and building a snowman and just having it, looking for that hot cocoa on the inside, you really don't think about the cold, and then you just think about the various adventures. But if you sit inside and you have time to think about how horrible this is, and guess what you think about is what it
It's
becomes,
gonna
and it
be horrible.
manifests and it
Exactly.
grows. Yeah.
Exactly. And then
So
that becomes
I like,
your
yeah.
thing, your topic of conversation. And then there's certain people that you see, and that's just what you talk about. Oh man, the winter. Oh man.
Yeah,
Can you believe how
I
much
didn't.
this
Yeah, growing up, I don't know how I felt about things. I mean, I was a kid, but like as I've gotten older, I've gone through my phase. I lived in Kentucky for a while. I know I hated winter there, so like, and not to say like I've been this like, oh, I love all seasons, but as I get older and experience it and really embrace them, and know I can't change winter unless I
right.
move, but
You can
I
move,
really,
yeah.
actually, I really like season. I like
Yeah.
it all. Like I think, I enjoy the parts of fall a little bit more when it's a little bit cooler. I enjoy the donuts and the pumpkin spice lattes.
Nice.
Yeah.
This just in, personal trainer admits to eating donuts. We
Yes.
do
And
it.
I try to find healthier ways, but yeah, like, there's a
Yeah.
compromise. I think everything in
Still
moderation.
donuts.
I want people to, yeah, exactly. Like I want people to enjoy their life. It doesn't mean like only eat donuts and find healthy alternatives. I think you need to
Right.
have your chicken and broccoli too. But
Sure.
I believe in you got to have a healthy relationship with everything. Obviously if you got a wife or a significant other or kids, whatever you have a healthy relationship to, like, those things grow. But so many people have turned into like movement and nutrition and have these bad relationships with them, and like oh my god, I gotta work out because I didn't
Yeah.
do anything and I ate like crap for my entire life. And it's all this negative verbiage and the words and the things and the connotations towards it and the connections to it. But if you just flip it around and be like, I get to do this movement and this is a gift for my body, and the food is a gift to fuel, and like it sounds kind of cheesy and silly if you use whatever words you want, but that's what I work with my clients, and just develop these healthy habits and healthy conversations and healthy relationships with everything that's important to them or needs to be important to them. And guess what? When you have that healthy relationship, you're more excited to see it. But when you, like, for example, if you're pissed off your wife, do you really want to be around her? No. And then those
Right.
things keep pushing farther and farther away. Same thing with food and nutrition. Same thing. Like the more you have like a healthy foundation and a healthy relationship with it, the more you want to drive to eating healthier and eating movement. Sounds simple, but it's not easy,
Yep.
right?
Exactly. Well, I think it's funny what happens, because when we're kids, like our favorite subject in school is like recess and lunch, right? We just want to go outside and play with our friends.
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah.
then when we get older, it stops being play, and it starts to become, oh, I gotta do 30 minutes on the treadmill, and then I gotta go lift. I gotta do 3 sets to 10, and then I gotta do, it becomes a gotta do instead of get to do. And I think that is a big difference. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your book, because I know last time we talked,
Sure.
you were just putting it out, and it sounds like you really put yourself out there, as far as, and you alluded to it a minute ago, as far as you had some trauma in your past life and how you've sort of overcome that. What have been some of the responses to the book, and like people coming out
I
and saying, hey,
mean,
same thing with me too, this is awesome?
every single review so far on Amazon has been great and been 5 stars. And if you're
Nice.
listening to this right now and you've read it and you feel 5 stars called, if you don't know much about like ratings, most people are vowing to give bad ratings. So if you read my book and you love it, please go out, because it gets just the analytics of things. It gets in more people's hands to help them. But
Yeah.
the one of the things that surprised me is the people that have been reached out to me and that have been impacted by it. Like there's a certain population that I was like, okay, they'll benefit from this. And that was people, like, to give people a little background, like, the book covers a lot of different pain. Like I've been through a lot. Some people say you were like a cat who blew through his 9 lives, but it wasn't just like like, I mean, yeah, it includes, I've broken my neck twice, one in a snowboarding accident, one in a bad car wreck. I've had 9 staples in my head. I've had brain hemorrhaging. I've had precancerous polyps in my colon. I've had torn rotator cuffs. But prior to all that, like at age about, like if you go back to birth, honestly, like I had a twin that didn't survive birth, but yet I did. I age 5 through about age 9, I was sexually molested and abused by people close to me, and this went on. And then one of those people even decided to burn down my house with me inside and my siblings inside. So we obviously made it out. I'm alive, and nobody died in these things, but people were hurt. And these things, for those that have been through any kind of trauma, whether it be sexual or whatever, you may not know it, or you do know it. It can last forever, and it can become such a part of your subconscious. Especially research is now showing before the age of 7, it literally changes your DNA and like it affects your central nervous system and everything else. And unless we grow from it and learn from it and address it and are self-aware of how it might impact, we might see it as we get older as like I'm yelling at my kids or my wife, or I eat unhealthy, or I have late nights, or I have an addiction to drugs or alcohol. There's various vices and things that could manifest itself later in life, and we don't seem to correlate it to the trauma. But I'll tell you what, they're finding out a lot of these things that happen later in life, and how our personality to everything else. We are a product of our environment, and those things can literally change us no matter how great everything is after the fact. So I just want to point that out. And, so what I have found is purpose through it. It's like, a couple different things can happen from those things, is that we can go one of two ways. I feel like, we can either try, especially as men who have dealt with that, we might look at it as a weakness or something. So we want to like forget about it. If more time goes on, it's just going to go away, but that never really happens. Or it becomes such a part of us that it affects everything about us and everyone around us, creating this like negative domino effect. But we just don't see it as the trauma that happened. So we got to address it, and we got to be real with it, and we got to learn and grow from it, and understand that it's just part of our story. And when we can like say it out loud and talk about it on a podcast, and to the point that we're comfortable that it doesn't have to define us. It could just be a challenging, growing moment that just happened to occur to us. And then, you're really moving in the right direction. And yeah, so the people, like I said, some people that like, outside looking in, they look like to me successes, full on successes. And what I'm realizing is they might have gone through some trauma, and they might be a success. And I talk about the 4 quadrants of what I call success in my book. So we talk about like family, faith, finances, and fitness and health and stuff. And they might have one of those components, but 3 are just jacked. And then you can almost correlate it back to some of the trauma that they had earlier in life. Yeah. So they've been blown away. And some of the things that I do, I obviously offer tips and how I work through things. But at the end of each chapter, I offer key takeaways. Because like one thing is like I talk about I have ADD, or I was diagnosed, but I just didn't want to look at it as a limiting factor. I would look at it as like a superpower of sorts. Yeah. And so like maybe you read the whole chapter, like, man, what are you talking about? Oh, cool, awesome, thanks for the takeaways. But I also offer questions, Q&As at the end, because I want people to grow. And like that's what I've always wanted out of anything. And I was like, man, if I was reading this book, what would I want? Man, I would want to like really challenge myself with some Q&As. And I really encourage people to read this book as a group if you can, or come back to somebody that has read this book, maybe, and create small little community groups out of it, and talk like almost like AA meetings, because that's what's kind of happening on a small scale, and people are growing. And some of these questions are tough, some of them are challenging, and whether you've been through worse things or not even half things, I guarantee everyone can find at least one beneficial thing out of this book. One person who read it, who's a doctor, just blown away, was like, man, it got him to actually think like to really just look at a different perspective at like when bad things happen to him. Like he would be the type, he told me, that he would be pissed off or try to get angry at it or try to ignore it. But now he's trying to face it and realize this is an opportunity that I couldn't control, but I can grow. And I'm like, that's it, man. That's the thing. And I think we just need to be kinder to ourselves and learn that life is full of experiences, and we're all like doing great at times, or we're all effing up at times, and just to like win sometimes and grow sometimes is kind of the thing. So hopefully people get that out of it. And everyone's telling me it's a roller coaster ride, so it's not completely down here, it's ups and downs, and it definitely ends on a good note. And it's a quick read, everyone's telling me. To give you an idea, it's about 220 some pages, and I could have wrote it like, if I didn't have editors, it probably would have been double that. Because sometimes because I was on I was on like this like writing rampage some mornings, but
Yeah,
maybe a
feeling the
book,
flow.
2 or 3. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
I never thought I could or would write a book, and now it's like I'm kind of marinating on the idea like what's next.
Right.
I'd love to kind of maybe put something else out there, but it's just kind of like what now? So
Awesome. What's the name of the book again?
Purpose Through Pain: Finding Limitless Potential in the Presence of Adversity. It is on Amazon.
Awesome.
It is paperback, and it's a Kindle version. The hardcover should be coming within the month or so. That was a whole undertaking too. And then there's a website too, so you can get it on Amazon, but you can go to justenarnold.com, and that's Justen with an E-N, JUSTENARNOLD.com. And then I have my gym website, which is flex with 2 X's MP.com, FLEXXMP.com. So
Nice. That's awesome, man. Well, hey, thanks for joining me again. This is awesome. Good to see you again.
For sure, man. Always a pleasure.
Glad you're learning how to skate, and you got to keep up with those kids, man. They're in the age where it's like they're fun to play with. They're not, teenagers yet, and they just want to leave to the mall all day. So they're super fun at this age.
I got 6, 9, 12, so I'm in the thick of it at various ages, and it's just like it's a learning experience. But all I can say is when people tell you life happens fast if you have kids, it literally does.
It's
and
ridiculous.
Don't wait until a vacation. Carve out time, if not daily, weekly, to really experience, because it's not just about them, it's also about you too, and it's a cyclical thing. So make that impact on you and those others, and make that time.
Yep 100%. My oldest, my son, is turning 10 in 3 weeks. I think back and I'm like, man, I remember when I turned 10. I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be a decade old, I'm double digits. And now what happened? I'm 41 as well, and he's 10. This is crazy. It's just, you're 100% right. It goes fast. I remember him being born, holding him. Crazy.
I know, it seems like yesterday sometimes. So
awesome, right?
Yeah, it's so weird. Anyway, I go on and on about that, but yeah, for sure.
All right, cool, Justin. Well, we will definitely talk soon. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Justen Arnold, Health in the Real World. Thanks again, Justin.
Thanks again. Take care, brother. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.